So, how much will we be purchasing? Very assured of herself, is that Chris? I could hear Chris happily cleaning the dishes with Risa. For one second I felt like I'd travelled back 4 years, but time and wine's never no man. And just as time went on, people grew up. That system is incredible. Looking at the ABS or rather CDO scheme still on the wall, Marco looked completely baffled at utters those words. It is quite fitting for lunar surface. So you're going to buy 5 million walls worth of senior claims for the time being, is that okay? If I hadn't said no here, it would meant nothing more than being an obstinate donking. And with protection, just to be sure. Are you going to try out some accounting conventions? No, I'm not buying it for a gamble. I'm just going to try it by first see what it is exactly. I said it was a meagre form of opposition, but Marco muttered with the following words with a sigh. I thought the mezzanine claims of CDO thing wouldn't be bad. You know. Security is made from gathering, filtering and cleaning up the waste products from ABS. Impurity, that is, risk got more and more concentrated and pushed to the back. Or you could then liken the operation to creating fresh water from seawater. Once we get to a stage where we focus our energy into buying views, that's what we'll do. I just want to go after as much profit as I can to begin with. Are you still worried about something? No. That was my answer, but I showed him a palm of my hand before putting up my knee. Not so much a doubt as a feeling. Something's off. Off? It's working too well. Looked at Marco and chuckled. I know what you want to say, I'm surprised too. I'm no Dr. Wallace after all. I think it's probably jealousy, or at least mostly I'm just mortified. The stock market has its own good sides though. The relationship I got used to between risk and return doesn't hold true here. I have a trouble taking that in, no matter what. Protector was displaying some formulas. Ever since I was trading my laptop 8 years ago, math had always been a powerful tool. My god, that's an old image. But there's still room for human hands to intervene. I see people like me could rack their brains and actually take some action and enjoyment in it. I'm actually going to get rid of that. Besides, returns were something you would obtain by taking risks. In a way, our plain and simple evil was probably over. There was also a cultural difference between Earth and the lunar surface. Here its place was to try for a big chance of your life. E.J. Rockberg was a flying rocket ship with CP as fuel. Meanwhile, I was just a donkey that was falling behind the times in the old-fashioned stock market. I was probably getting cocky thinking I was a David who had taken down the immense Goliath at was Avalon. Huh? I knew it. Big organisations do things on an incredible scale. I uttered those words looking at Projector, and Marco glanced at both me and Projector before shrugging. Well, think about it. It's like we have a whole legion of people like you, so in the end, what do I do? It sounded like Chris and Risa were the ones doing the dishes. And we were chatting alone over the sofa. I could tell how their voices resounded. Yeah, in the end, what do we do? With just an investment of 5 million, it wouldn't bring significant profits. If we really wanted to make money, I'd have to put in 10 or 20 times that for it to be meaningful. Face an investment would have been society crazy about its profits. Would I be able to keep a neutral position, either following it or leaving it alone? The stock market was now saturated, and in order to keep turning a profit from it, I have to lower my level of sanity and start dabbling in what I knew to be expensive stocks. According to Chris's words, that's how it looked because risk management methods involved. But if that was true, the speculation madness would be permanent. Could I accept that? If one was to yield before maths, then maybe. However, I knew the world didn't work exactly according to maths. The last moment when he showed them the right way, people got scared and confused. I could tell it was right. Above all, since the dawn of history, there had been no precedent to the stock market remaining on a permanently increasing trend. And with that, my thought process went back to its starting point. In that case, if I needed to depart from my convictions, I wanted to spend my time and energy on something more positive. And if I could get more confident about this investment should lead to immense profits. As Stacia said, I could only view this as the biggest gambit in history. Where a never seen before mountain of chips was bet. I'll observe and analyse as best as I can, and decide whether or not we should seriously make a move or not. Let's make this properly. We can't ignore it anymore. Marco looked puzzled, then answered. But looks like we're buying it anyway in the end. Well, that's fine. I don't understand your lack of desire, Hal. You're not going to say let's do this now or let's buy more, anything. I'd prefer it if you'd not refer to it as caution. I'll stop and made for a hallway. Oh, that's just adorable. I entered the living room and discovered Chris with her head on Reese's lap, having her ears cleaned. Come on, Chris, don't move. Chris realised we were watching her as she tried to move. Reese chided on her. And glancing at me, Reese said this. You want to go next? Well, I don't have any money. What about Marco? Oh no, that is... He doesn't want anyone beside Eleanor to do it. Oh, such a shame. Marco had his mouth half opened as if he wanted to say something. When he was locked gazes, he averted his ears in a pout. Well, we'll be leaving first. Oh my, you're in such a hurry. Me too. Chris said this under Reese's hands. I uttered the following words. If you don't rest when you can, you'll collapse. Oh, I'll be buying around 500 of those senior claims. But if you have enough in store, that is. Lisa glanced at me for a second and said this to Chris with a smile. Did you hear? Good for you, you made a sale. Oh. Well then. She doesn't seem too pleased by that sale. Maybe she knows we're still not 100% sure. Yes, good night. I signalled to Marco in my eyes and left church. It had gotten dark, and it felt like the temperature had dropped within the lunar surface dome. I gazed at the starry sky displayed above. To think that we're really using a product created by Chris. The world really works in mysterious ways. Marco said something the opposite of what we were discussing just now. Appearances don't matter, right? Chris is competent. Of course you're right, but it still feels weird. I somehow understood what Marco wanted to say, but maybe this was how the world worked. Still, ear cleaning, huh? Hearing what I muttered, Marco burst into laughter. You gotta get laughter or you won't be able to get on. Here, standing still meant dying. We must keep on walking our way, because we've sworn to keep on walking. So, we'll have to investigate this on top of regular business, huh? We'll be able to put up with that? Who is this weird talking about? I shrugged at Marco and made for Big Avenue to get a taxi. That day, the market had been rough since the morning. The economy was overheating to the point that England decided to hike the interest rates. And almost like I was drawn in by it, provoked a series of earth-shattering changes in return. The real world was not like the loans that Chris managed. Everything was connected. Did someone simultaneously combust in here? Marco asked, entering the office with shopping bags. Huh. Oh yeah, it was really noisy in here. They were throwing computers and chairs against the walls. It's probably just a cackle anyway. Yeah. I was actually my chair eating the imported cherries I'd sent Marco out for. It's quite common after all. But I enjoyed taking huge risks at bloopers, being deviated from a little more expected. It was like Sadie said, if there's even a chance of an accident happening, it would. I've heard a number of suicides caused by failure investments is surprisingly low. Do you think that's true? Marco put up a graces and made some rather disturbing conversation as he did. Even during the Great Depression of the US Bank in 1929, the suicide rate in New York didn't actually increase much. Probably weird of me to say, but it's money after all, though. My mouth was full of cherries when I said this. It's a huge make or break game. Heard you used to be like that too, Hal. I suppose there were cherry pits before I answered. It's true. Almost never applied leverage. Always messed with all my belongings and betting all I could when it mattered. And you're blown up? Blown up. I raised my hands and looked up. The big win or lose gambles aren't really that bad. You have to do it when you expect a return. Such opportunities are hard to come by. However, you must avoid betting in such a way that you risk losing everything. I could only come back after that because I had something in my possession. Huh? Anyway, We'll probably never get a big opportunity like that in the stock market again. Yeah, but to a buyer, the current market must look like it's grown at a pace I'll never see again in my lifetime. You're saying that after I've thrown up chairs and computers around and went down a tiny bit? Marco shrugged a bit into a hot dog. That's why I'm quite grateful my dad gives back. The market is chaos. We still haven't received a single call from investors. I'm sure that's to do with the work we put in every day. Except it's a goldsmith. Marco looked fed up as he said this. It's not that bad, right? At least it's a type you'll understand if you explain. True. Alright, some guy tried to sell me a blacklist of investors not long ago. He said it was the names of nervous claimers. How much was it? Shrugged in response. Not a single one of the others contacted us. All satisfied with our bi-weekly reports. It shows they trust you. We have to keep going and not letting ourselves get depressed. I'm not feeling particularly depressed. Marco maintained his expression of studied composure as said this. He swept a spot of mustard from left side of his mouth, and he licked it off his finger. You were saying a lot of self-deprecating stuff after what went down in Club 25. I'm starting to understand why Eleanor hired you. She said to like the fact I'm never afraid to say or do anything. I'm pretty sure she meant that ironically. Who knows? He said that after a cheeky expression, and lowered his head, poking his tablet with one hand. A moment later, an email forwarded to me. It's the person I was talking about. We'll finally get an appointment. It's a real estate firm. We've asked EJ Rockberg for a loan composition. New age development, well, what do you think? I'm inclined to reject them just because of their name. That's precisely what I did. The operating costs were way too high. I was ready to believe I was just actually paying off their clients to get them to consent and mortgage loans. The sales numbers went up by 720% last year. That's pretty impressive. The number of cows and pigs bred in factories is also pretty impressive too. They are bred with antibiotics, electric current, and food doesn't exist in nature. You think they'll survive for long? Depends on if they're saying their prayers. End of conversation. Once more filling my mouth with cherries. Oh, you're an interesting fellow. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm the CEO, Dan Steiner. He was one of those guys who just covered their hair all the way up to the back of his hands. You know the type. He had a muscular chest, sunburnt skin, and ruffled up hair like a penguin's feathers. There were three essential keys for success: luck, tenacity, and pride. I said the movie Avalon's Defeat. It was truly a magnificent tale, more than chivalry you might even say. It wasn't nearly that grandiose in reality though. Likely because the real lead actress was entirely CG. But I've heard of real Miss Eleanor. It's quite beautiful. You may have opened our conversation the same way by talking about the movie. This man was nothing like Rich from a software company we visited the other day. Of course, that didn't necessarily mean Dan will be a no good either. In any case, I'm truly honoured to hear a hero of lunar service would see fit to join our company. We're a humble company, so please come in. Dan, who had the first of two buttons on his shirt open, led Marco into an office. It was situated in a relatively bare area compared to the rest of Newton City, but there's quite a street corner. Everyone's hard at work. We have a quote system here, so the salaries are determined by commissions. The top bonus last month was about 700,000. Last month? We give out bonuses every month. Marco looked away, lips soundlessly mouthing, wow. By their sales, their profits were probably going to diminish. We've been guiding to a section of seats that weren't all that different from the others. It looked like some sort of storage room. We set up as a reception area for visitors and guests, but it's more than likely used as a napping spot for overzealous workers. I'm sorry, this is the only place available. It's okay. I replied as I thought to myself. This company seemed to prefer spending money on its employees rather than fancy offices and furniture. Not a bad move economically or image-wise. So, Hal. So, I got used to that name from watching a movie, so you can call me Hal, that's what everyone else calls me. Alright then, you interested in investing in real estate? Well, yes, sort of. Had a good reason for speaking so ambiguously. Of course, Dan had noticed my uncertainty. I don't consider you a business rival, you know. So you've heard about that, huh? I think your housing project is pretty good. Someone like me who wanted to build houses, but let people live in them for cheap must seem quite averse to Dan who's been combining these mortgages that people took to buy a house. However, the smile that Dan was wearing in front of me didn't seem like a mere business smile. They're probably slow-witted people, you see. He was a business driver in the field. But those were small companies who do everything themselves, are lease agencies. On the contrary, for those like us who combine loans to your projects is more than welcome. What do you mean? If people live in cheap homes, they can save money. If they save enough money, they can eventually buy a house themselves. If they manage to become partners, which will constitute a great plus for me. I could size him up just by listening to him. I look over his entire situation. What kind of client do I want? Yes, the people who would benefit from your project are all people who don't own their own home. Exactly. It'd be great if we could focus on doing business with people like that. At this point in time, at the lunar surface, non-homeowners are precious golden eggs to us. People who have fed from somewhere miserable on Earth, or people who wash ashore before being unsuccessful on the lunar surface. Homeless people who stepped on the street are in mazes like alleys, going back and forth between work and there. A life nobody would consider easy. But Dan saw them as prospective clients. This could just be a point of business completed by greed, only preying on the weak. However, if Dan were to finance them, it was true that these people could be able to buy a house. With that logic, Dan's motive would be money making, which would indeed mean they had the same goal as we did. But since you aren't coming to us rather than us approaching you, I'm assuming there's something going on in the project, right? Yeah. To be honest, I have some questions about mortgages. Mortgages? Dan was looking at me blankly. As I was thinking it was natural for him to be surprised, his question changed to one of comprehension. You mean ABS, right? I do. He shrugged and started to laugh. Well, our company does sell ABS. You're the first person ever come all this way out here to ask about it. Ask because I'm a worry, what? Ha. Just thanks to that attitude, you managed to expose Avalon's fraud, and to be honest, loan bankruptcies happen relatively often. That unexpected statement caught me off guard. If that was the case, an ABS which included lots of mortgages would suffer a lot more losses. However, the essential for a loan source to come from lunar surface real estate. Dan raised his index finger, winking rather smugly. I'm sure you're aware of that fact. Lunar surface real estate has not once seen any decline. Yeah, I know, more or less. However, it's never declined and most started to stagnate. Exactly. That's because even if the available surface money is limited, people keep still migrating here. From a strict perspective of supply and demand, there's no reason for a market to decline. Therefore, as you said, even if there's been a period of stagnation of the market, it never has declined. On the contrary, those periods of stagnation are like switching into gears in a car, because afterwards the price has always skyrocketed. Kazanik had probably been thinking about that just when he came to ask me about the funds. Moreover, if I recall correctly, each increase in value on the market had broken the record of a previous one. Perhaps a period of stagnation being caused by a structural issue rather than related to loans, like a delay of the processing of paperwork of a credit limit for issuing loans had been reached. On the other hand, the main reasons of people becoming unhappy to pay back the loans would be that Edwina becomes sick and would be hospitalised, or where a place of work closes down or undergoes restructuring. Those unlucky events that can't be prevented. But just because the value of housing is high enough when the loan happens, you can still sell their houses back and pay their loans. In fact, most of them can manage to pay quite a lot of profit by doing it. Of course, it might be more difficult to make a profit if they were to go bankrupt right after buying a house. Even so, seeing how much the price of the market is rising, will be enough to manage it to make profit regardless. Those words reminded me of that time I went to Clapton Square with Chris 4 years ago. That's right. At the real estate office, people are fighting over houses that cost more than a regular person's lifetime earnings. They borrowed most of that sum and only pay the interest. From a logical standpoint, they should be able to pay back the loan greater than lifetime earnings if they work their entire lives to do so. As to what that kind of thing was possible, because the price of real estate was always on the rise. Then those who managed to make profit out of their first house then go for an even bigger house next. By doing that, they pay away for their own wealth. We're really helping them do that from the beginning. And in particular, sorry this may sound somewhat offensive to you two, but shoot. We practically provide loans to even people who aren't particularly affluent. Of course, you then have to charge them higher interest rates, but that's because most of them are people who fall short of the criteria to obtain a loan with priority interest rates, also known as a prime rate. Undeniably at the subprime level. In this kind of situation, we recommend our plans for temporary exoneration of interest rates. Depending on the situation, we're exempted from paying interest rates at first. We then repay the loan with a low interest rate, but afterwards the interest rate argument augments. That way, even if we enter a period of slight stagnation on the market, they can still wait for prices to resume a rise without rushing. They can wait for a rise of the house's value before selling it, until right before their interest rate increase. But obviously, if they manage to loan and a good job at that time and work hard, they might not care about the interest rate going up slightly. Dan paused before briefly adding, when you live in a proper house, it puts you in a completely different mindset. It also motivates you deep down. Just because they're poor migrants doesn't mean they're talented. As long as someone's willing to lend them their initial funds, anyone can become successful. The former outer district was a good example of that. Chris had somehow managed to obtain a ticket to university, but I do wonder how many capable people had given up on entering university because they couldn't afford the tuition. If President Kazanica had heard that, he'd want to shake your hand. Well, we sincerely consider ourselves to be on the same side as you, but also sometimes called greedy cheapskates. However, we work our fingers to a bone in this office every day, not only because of bonuses, but because we pride ourselves on being able to contribute to society. Aside from making money, their objective was also to contribute to society. That could indeed be a good motivation. For some reason, thinking you can change society was a terribly thrilling notion. Obviously, we're not criticising your methods. We also understand that some people are conservative stances and would rather avoid loans as much as possible. I think that what most people really need was a proper place to live in. It isn't too expensive, which is why I think our company and your group each have complementary roles and could work together. I sincerely believe we could make a better society on the lunar surface. Even if his outward appearance was somewhat eccentric, his words carried weight. His expression was earnest. If you didn't want to get blown away on a fastest place lunar surface, then you had to have convictions. And Dan looked like he had such convictions. Thank you very much. It's been particularly enlightening. Oh no, I mean one is grateful being able to meet you also. Huh? If you do plan on doing transactions in real estate, by all means contact us. Sales motion passed off as a joke. Pretty much what I expect from him. Yeah, I will do. Dan and I said this as he shook each other's hands. I was sitting in a cafe from which a grand hall of Clapton Square was visible.